Hey, in this video, we're going to talk about artistic vision. First, what it is, then we're getting to how you can actually find it for yourself and what sets apart legendary artists from the rest. And once you figured your artistic vision, how you can share it with everyone. Let's get into it. First, we have to identify artistic vision, and that essentially is the centerpiece of what makes legendary artists, stand out from the rest. So the vision actually acts as a compass. It helps you stay focused, and it gives the things you're doing a sense of purpose. So why you're doing it, and like along the way, in the journey, how you're going to achieve certain things. That's like that's the vision that's helping you, justify why you're working towards certain goals. And by having clear artistic vision, it's going to help your art be cohesive, it's going to make sure it's meaningful, and it's going to make it authentic. Now that we know what artistic vision means, let's talk about your vision and your personal values and how the two work together. So first, you have to actually reflect on your personal values. So what do you stand for? Do you like to make people happy? Do you like to inspire them? Do you want to show a side of you that not too many people know? Do you like talking about certain causes or raising awareness towards things that are happening around the world? So all of those things can be your personal values. And honestly, like having a good time and making sure people can de-stress, that can be a value. It doesn't necessarily have to be deep, fighting for equality and all that stuff. So some of the things you can actually draw inspirations from, your personal experiences, your passion and worldviews give you a unique perspective and essentially make up your personal values. From personal experiences, I can tell you it's really important to make sure your personal values is aligned with the work you're creating, and that is going to make sure your art, it feels sincere and it feels authentic. Like, you can't really fake it. So once you do that, as an artist, it's the work you create is actually going to be really, really meaningful to you, and your audience is going to enjoy it as well. Best of both worlds. Now on the screen, you're going to see an exercise that I did for myself to find my kind of foundational values, you might call it. And so what I did is literally I just started writing down words that resonate with me, whether if it's unity, connectedness, inclusion, dancing, performing, creativity. So once you write all of these words down, I want you to group them into 3 categories, right? See what words can resonate with each other and what kind of categories you can create. I want you to give it a name, right? So let's say it can be growth, it can be individuality, it can be freedom, it can be whatever you want, but just so it should be a word that covers all of those words that fall under that group that you've created. So this exercise actually helps you figure out your foundational values and what is it that you stand for. So any art or anything that you're creating actually ties back to one of those keywords that you determined earlier. Let's talk about exploring your inspirations and influences. So as an artist, there has to be someone or something that inspired you to be the person you are now. If it's a painter or a song you heard, you say that song really resonated with me, and you want to have the same impact on someone else. So there has to be someone. You can look at your playlist, you can see what paintings you really are stuck in your head. You just have to do some digging and figure out what or who actually inspired you of getting into the creative industry. I want you to make a note of those moments and people that left you that impression. It can come from, cultural moments. If there was a revolution or if there was something that happened in your culture that, you feel very passionate about. That's a great example, actually. Once you made a note of those moments and people, you can look for recurring themes, vibes and styles, and that essentially contributed to who you are right now. Now, once you have a good idea of those moments and themes, I would suggest for you to create a mood board on Pinterest, and just create a free Pinterest account and start searching up those moments. If it's a people, if it's the way they dress, if it's certain paintings. And actually, once you have a good idea and you get some pictures in there, Pinterest will start recommending similar pictures that you might not have been exposed to. So you explore and find new things that are within the same realm, and you start building a picture and actually visualizing the things that inspired you, or maybe change a few things from time to time. So it's going to be a living document, and that's what I'm trying to get to. Now, one thing you should be aware of is kind of your individuality. And as an artist, you don't really want to be a copycat, because there is already that artist and they're known for that art, and we don't really need a second one just like them. But you are a combination of all of those inspirations. When you kind of draw your personal experiences with the art that inspired you is actually going to create something new. And the more personal experiences you can mix with whatever that was inspiring for you, it's going to make the art more unique and custom from you. Definitely do that, and don't try to be a copycat. Now that we talked about your inspirations and your influences, let's talk about your unique voice. So to start things off, you can't be other people and other people can't be you. And that's going to be your greatest strength. So really hone in that one. So finding your unique voice involves discovering and expressing your individuality. That can be your culture, your upbringing, different skill sets you might have, you know, education, any hidden talents you might have that people might not know of, and all of those things contribute to finding your voice. And trust me when I tell you this, it takes a lot of experimentation to actually find which combinations of kind of your personal values make the best kind of combination for the art you're making. And so it's not gonna work right away. It might not, it might, who knows? But don't be discouraged if it doesn't work at like during the first time, because the more you do it, the more you find out and the more you discover that, you know, this might not be it, and you know, you start tweaking and changing which values to incorporate into your art. Now, to give you an example, let's look at the first song I made. The song was called On My Way. It's a pop song. It's like a Latin pop song. So now compare that song with my latest song called Inhale. And that song is like an EDM, is like a festival EDM song that incorporates kind of Middle Eastern oud instrument and mixes it with Western music festival music. And those two are, you know, two worlds apart when you compare the pop Latin one versus like the EDM. And that just shows the more you make songs, the more you actually have an understanding of where you want to go and where you don't want to go, which is actually the more important part. And always remember to, you know, use the quirks, the things that make you unique to your strength. Those things, you know, some people might feel insecure about it, but that thing actually makes you unique, and you should actually embrace it and cherish it. Now, definitely make sure to, you know, embrace that individuality and, you know, mix it with your art. After all, that's what makes you unique. So we were talking about some internal factors such as your strengths, weaknesses, your, you know, influences and things like that. And let's switch gears and talk about, you know, external factors. Let's talk about your audience and your market. At the end of the day, if you're creating an art, you should definitely consider the market that you're creating it for. So you have to look at the demographic, what people's interests are, what other artists that, you know, could be a good mix for you to collaborate. So all of those, you have to do some market research and understand the market that you're creating that art for. So in summary, just make sure that the art you're making and all the advertising you're doing for your art is resonating with interests and kind of like the market that your audience is for. Start painting a picture of who's actually coming to your shows and who do you want to come to your shows. What are they wearing? What brands do they associate with? What kind of food and drinks do they drink? All of that just helps you better understand the people that you're making your art with and how you can resonate with them more. Now, let's talk about embracing your vision and growth as an artist. Now, I understand that you might feel your vision is pretty set in stone right now, but the more you make music and the more you explore different avenues, it's actually going to change, and that's okay. One thing that you should always be doing is experimenting and trying different things just to kind of get inspired, and who knows, you might find something that's actually really inspiring and really cool that other people haven't done. All of the cool things that we have, we figured them out through like kind of experimenting and kind of doing the things that you're not supposed to do. Definitely get out of your comfort zone, try different things without expectation, and just see what happens. It's gonna be so much fun, and you'll love it. Happy experimenting. So the last point I want to talk about is communicating your artistic vision. So everything before now, we were just talking about, you know, figuring it out, finding it, and how to kind of like explore it, and it's not long term and it's gonna change. But now that you actually found and figured out your artistic vision, how do you communicate it? How do you tell people? You want to collaborate with different people, you hire people to do marketing for you. How do you communicate that vision that you just figured out for yourself to other people? So let's talk about that. So communicating your vision, it's actually part of your branding. It's how you present yourself. If someone Googles your name, what do they see? Do they see black and white photos? Do they see a dark theme? Or is it very colorful and happy and very like uplifting? So it definitely starts with branding and how you set the tone. As a start, you should have an artist statement where you just, talk about why you're creating the work you're doing right now. Is it, to empower certain groups? Is it to empower, or is it bring light towards certain causes? Or is it, just make people happy and dance? Or is it mixing different genres that we've never seen mixed before? And it's actually focused on the why you're doing the thing you're pursuing. The next thing you should have is a written bio. So what have you done? All those experiences, all those kind of memories, all those inspirations, and it should talk about how all of the things you've experienced and you've done is actually helping you and contributing to the thing you want to create. And once you have a bio, it's just about kind of like the visual aspect. It's what kind of clothes are you wearing, and is it very like ethnic clothing, or is it like just like a white t-shirt and like a black jacket? And these things, once they're made, should create a cohesive image of what you stand for, what your brand is, and kind of like what your vision is. Now, once you've made these things, let's talk about where and what platforms you can showcase them. So, social media. You can create a YouTube channel to talk about them, an Instagram account to post pictures and videos and reels, and make sure to use the bio in your profile to actually talk about the things that make you unique. You can see mine, and you can check mine as a reference. Next, you can do interviews and talk about, the different values and what you're trying to do and get people interested that way. And obviously, if you decide to have your own website, you can kind of highlight all of those there in different pages. So you can have your bio, you can have your artist statement, you can have a link to your interviews and your social media for people to check them out. So if you found this video helpful and want to see more of it, make sure to hit the like button below. Now I want you to leave me a comment and tell me what other topics you want me to cover. I always look and answer all of my comments, so if you have any questions, don't be a stranger and please ask. I'm more than happy to answer them. Now if you're interested in different product management skills for creatives, I have a video that actually talks about that, and I highly recommend you watch it right here. But until next video, peace out.